Thank you for tuning into our seller interview series. Up today, we've got a dropshipping business for sale in the home and garden niche. Created in November 2016, this business makes $4,032 per month in net profit. The listing number for the business is 44811. We do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the businesses they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making a buying decision. We've got the seller with us today to go through the business and cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. Aaron, thank you for coming on here today. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me, mate.
It is my pleasure. I'm excited to look at this business today and get your take on how it came to be and where it can go. But before we dive into the questions that I have for you, I want to go ahead and run through a little quick summary of the business.
Sure.
The business was built in November of 2016, has a monthly revenue of $15,649, expenses of $11,616 to make for a net profit of $4,032, which is generated on a 12-month average. Included in the sale of this business are the primary domain and all site content and files, social media accounts, and supplier relationships. Aaron, can you tell us a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Yep. So I started my online journey February 2016, and I started with my first store. I built it. It took me a while, but then I launched ads in July of the same year, 2016. So that became profitable as soon as I launched. About like 2 days later, I had my first sale, basically. And then it grew to profit to revenues of 69K and 70K, which was like the peak for that for November and December 2017. And the revenue was quite consistently high since then. And then I began my second store, which was, this is the current store that we're talking about, which I began in early November, and I launched ads about 3 weeks later. And then the following 3 weeks, it became profitable. I had my first sale and then subsequent sales after that. So throughout, it's been, what is that now, 3 years, 2016, 2018, 2 years and a half, I think it is, that I've been in e-com, and basically doing a lot of things in terms of just a whole range of, customer service, ads, supply management, getting suppliers, site design. I actually designed, I got the themes for the store, but I actually did a lot of additions to it because of my background in programming. So it was quite easy for me to know how to find out how to go about changing certain things to the way I like it, and also making sure that there's a lot of call to actions and a lot of necessary ingredients that make the website build trust from the get-go when the customer first enters first looks at the store. So so that's my experience. And it's been pretty fun the last 2.5 years, basically. Yeah.
And, it's been 2.5 years, been a fun ride. You've learned a lot. You've had great success because, as I mentioned before, you are making over 4,000 months in profit on an average. So why have you decided to sell the business today?
Well, that store's making 4,000 plus. Other stores also making money as well. But the reason I want to sell this store is because, I actually want to sell both stores, but I'm selling this store first. Is because, so all my life, I've actually done a lot of analysis work in terms of studying a maths degree, worked in a lot of analytical jobs. I just did a lot of the whole kind of that logical brain kind of type of work. And, and I, loved maths, I loved econ, but I just want to move on from that. I just want to do something more creative with my life. So I'm lucky that financially I don't have to, worry so much in terms of my finances. So I just want to basically just explore my creativity side and just do other things. So I still love e-com and I still want to get back into it maybe a few years down the track, the e-com store. But for now, I just want to pursue my other passions, which is in creating videos. So that's where I'm going.
And that's totally fair. But then that does raise the question then of, since you don't have as much time to focus on what you want because you're running this business and your other business, how much time does this business take you on a weekly basis?
Yep. So this business takes me about 6 hours a week because I don't really have to do anything. I have my VA actually doing everything. The only things I need to do is pay my suppliers, pay my VA. Once in a while, I'll have a question email that I have to basically attend to where my VA can't, it's a bit tricky. Basically, that's what I've been doing. I actually haven't touched Google AdWords since I think I touched it once since November of 2017, basically. And so I will talk about in terms of the opportunities later, but I haven't done much with the store, bare minimal just to maintain these profits. And so there's a lot of opportunity to basically do a lot of work to increase the profits quite easily. So basically, I spend 6 hours a week maintaining the store. And if you actually want to obviously improve it, then obviously you'll spend more time on it. But if you want to maintain the profits, then a few hours here and there is going to be enough. But that said, it's like there's just so much opportunity with the store. And because I actually don't mind foregoing the profits, just because, as I said, I don't really mind with the finances side of things. So I just want to be able to focus on what I like doing. And so that's why I've left the store as it is without really doing as much as I would have liked to do. And so I don't want to see the store, just maintaining like that. I want someone to actually go in and actually, get contacted all the suppliers I haven't contacted and just build it up and really take it off, because it's a store that I actually didn't really want to sell, because the brand that I've built with it during the first year that I've spent a lot of time doing it is that I built it up to such a good brand that it's so easy to leverage the brand to sell so many different items in that niche. And so, as I said, I have to follow, what I'm currently passionate about. And so that's why I have to let that go.
You mentioned that because of the VA that you have in place, it doesn't take you more than 6 or so hours. So what all does the VA do for the business?
She does everything. So basically fulfilling orders, answering customer inquiries. And she's a very smart girl. So I was lucky to hire her in the first place, because it's kind of difficult it is very difficult to find a person that speaks really good English, but not just good English, but the kind of like Americanish style of English that, that can really also be able to make the customer feel comfortable and to build that trust and to be friendly and to get them to relax. And she does a really good job at doing that. So she does customer service, the fulfillment, and she does product uploads. Actually, all the product uploads have already been done, but she can do them as well. She does complex inquiries as well. Things that she can't handle, she passes on to me once in a while. What else does she do? Yeah, the basics of drop shipping, basically, fulfillment and customer service, that kind of stuff, yeah.
Why did you decide to sell products on your own Shopify website rather than set up with something like Amazon FBA?
Yeah, so I know about Amazon FBA, and the reason is that when you have the products on your store, on your website, you own that website, and so you play by your own rules. So with Amazon FBA, Amazon can change their rules at any time without you, being prepared for, and you ultimately don't own the actual kind of like store at Amazon. Amazon owns it. So with my store, I own it, and the buyer that comes in after they've obviously bought the store, they'll own the website. And so with that, there comes a lot of benefits to that, which is you can have much more control over it. And also you can use a lot of different types of marketing, advertising efforts on it. It's just, basically bottom line is that you own that website.
You mentioned you can do more for marketing and you control all that. So what do you do for marketing?
So not much, actually, very little. So in terms of marketing advertising, it's basically Google AdWords, right? I want to be fully honest with you. So Google AdWords, so as I mentioned, I've touched it once since like November 2017, and it's not very optimized. And so, if I actually spent the time to optimizing it, the actual valuation would be a lot higher. So there's a lot of opportunity to fix up Google AdWords, and I haven't really done a good job on that because I haven't really taken off or put in the necessary negative keywords to filter, bad searches out to reduce this ad spend. So the net profit would actually be a lot higher if I did that. So mainly I use Google AdWords, and I also use Facebook retargeting. But the Facebook retargeting, I use an app which costs me 10% more. I don't do it myself. So there's potential to actually do it yourself to save that 10%. And also, so in terms of marketing, there's the newsletters, which I actually have not sent a single newsletter out to my customers. So things like special deals, Father's Day, Mother's Day, etc. I haven't done that just because by the time I've gotten around to it, I had already wanted to pursue my other field that I wanted to do, which is to make videos. And so with these opportunities, I've listed them out actually. So Pinterest as well, I haven't touched that. Well, actually, maybe uploaded maybe like a few products. I can't remember. It was for the second store. So the first store uploaded a few products. The second store, which was this one, I don't think I did any Pinterest work on it. And then, so hiring a social media manager, doing deals like public holiday deals, expanding the team, add more suppliers, which I have a list of about 25 suppliers that you can actually add more products to, they can contact, which I haven't done. The other thing is because of this niche is very cool. So it's actually a niche such that the older folks are more likely to actually buy the products in this niche. And so with that, because the older folks, they're less likely to do price comparisons just because they're not that tech savvy. So when they don't do as much price comparisons, they're not going to shop around. And so they're more likely to buy from me when they see the product as a first option they see. And also because once you are able to get high quality photos, which I have a few, but like the opportunity here is to hire a photographer or a videographer and then go around to the suppliers and actually take photos and videos and then put it on the website. And that actually, the customers are better feel for the products. Because with this niche, if you have better photos, the customers think, oh, this must be a different product. They can't get anywhere else because it's brand agnostic. That's very key to the success of my store. It's brand agnostic. There's no brand to it. So that's why it's a bit hard to do price comparisons. The other things, so import from AliExpress along to it. So there are quite a few products in my store that the customer needs to wait 6 to 8 weeks and they still wait for it and they're still willing to wait for it and buy it. And so I was thinking, in that case, why don't I just import a bunch of things or buy a bunch of things from AliExpress and then ship it over to the customer, which is, it's possible to actually do that as well with my brand, with the store. And also there are some products where I sell at 2 to 3x higher, which is basically 200% more than the actual wholesale, right? And so I've actually increased the price by that much just because there is one supplier which I'm the only retailer in Australia for that particular supplier. No one else is doing it because it's actually very tricky because you need to know the right shipping company to actually ship the product. And so there's a barrier of entry there. And there's a few other suppliers I have where there's minimal competition. That's why I've been able to sustain the profits even though I haven't been doing as much work as I'd like to. So these are the opportunities. There's quite a lot. Also Google ads, the PLA product listing ads, there's been 20% disapproved, which I haven't had the time to fix that. So once it's fixed, you can imagine the actual rate will be higher in terms of it showing on Google Shopping. And so therefore their profits will be higher as well. So there's just a lot of work that can be done to store, which I just, quite frankly, just don't have that energy or time to go and do it.
So growing the site more has really come down to just not having time for you to take advantage of those opportunities you outlined.
Yes.
But that makes me wonder then, obviously the business has grown then, because you didn't start out making $4,000 a month with this business. So how did the business grow if you haven't been able to take advantage of those things?
Okay, so this store has been operating since November 2016 when I launched ads. So that's about 2 years. So the first year I did a lot of work. I worked every day. Trust me, I worked sometimes 12 hours a day. So I put in a lot of work on the first year and that's why it grew. And that's why I'm basically living off of that hard initial work. And so maintaining it has been able to maintain those profits. And so I did a lot of work in terms of doing all the graphics in the front page by myself, getting a bunch of contract VAs to do the product uploads and coordinating that, getting the suppliers on board. And it was quite difficult to get these suppliers on board. There was one supplier which I got rejected about 4 times. And it was really tricky, but I still was able to get that supplier. And so it's been leveraging off my skills in sales to build my supplier relationships and just maintaining that relationship. And so just doing in terms of the Google ads, setting it up and initially managing the Facebook page so occasionally once every 3 or 4 weeks, I upload a picture on the Facebook page just to make Facebook page look like there's stuff happening, right? Which doesn't take much time. And also, what else? The Instagram page as well, which is simple upload. And I was going to say something else. Yeah, so I did a lot of work in the first year, and that paid off basically up until now, which is still maintaining that. And I guess the VA has been a really great VA. She's been able to really make the sales on the phone. That's why there's quite a lot of reviews on my store, which if I have a look at the store, how many reviews it's got, I think over 100 reviews on the reviews tab. I think it's 120 something or so. Let me just have a look at 112 reviews. So there's also quite a few repeat buys as well. And yeah, and so the reviews really help it to really maintain that level of profit. If customers come and they see the reviews on the website and they know it's established, they, as I said before, they have that trust factor immediately just because how the store is laid out with the reviews clearly seen, what we call, I guess, the social proof, of the fact that the store is doing well. Yeah, so that basically I was able to maintain the profits because of those factors.
What do you feel are some of the potential risks associated with this business that you would want a new owner to be aware of?
Yep. So the risk of dropshipping is that there will be new dropshippers that come into the game, and that is the honest risk. However, with this store, because of the nature of the niche, is that it's quite difficult to get in. There's barriers to entry where you need to know how to do the shipping properly. You need to know what shipping couriers to use, which my VA does know. And also, because it's a brandless, brand agnostic niche, it's very hard to just search for the brand and just find the products, because it's brand agnostic. So that is a barrier to entry as well. And also, just the nature of the products themselves, it's not one of those products that you can easily just drop ship. It's a product where it's a simple product, but as I said, you need to know how to use the courier well. And you need to know the type of couriers that exist in Australia, which took me a while to actually build that list up, to find the right couriers to use for each state to make it really cheap. But so in terms of the risk, yes, so new dropshippers coming on board to start the niche, there's actually been a few in the past that's come on board, but none of them actually have been able to do any damage in terms of competition. This store is actually up against the big stores of Australia, and it has the potential to be on that level where even if people do come on board, it's such a, I guess, in-demand niche in terms of there's a lot of customers that want these products, that there's a lot of the pizza is very big, and so there's a lot of potential again to really grow it. But other risks would be that I guess the obvious one is that you may lose suppliers, which I have not lost any suppliers in this store. But I guess if you don't manage your supply relationship properly, then they may not want to work with you. But it's just a matter of, obviously, if you're nice to them, then they're making money, you're making money. I don't see why not, that you'll lose relationship. So that's a very small risk. Other risks that's basically the only risk, is that other dropshippers come on board. But as I said, there are some barriers to entry with this niche that is not that easy to actually compete with.
Are you willing to commit to a non-compete?
Absolutely. So this is basically for me, it's mandatory, because if I were to buy a dropshipping store myself, it's mandatory that person has a non-compete agreement, because otherwise it just wouldn't make sense, because I know the ins and outs of the business, of that niche that I'm selling. And I guess with me, as I mentioned before, I want to dedicate myself to my new field of work, which is videography. And so I won't have time to actually compete anyway. So that's completely safe to the new buyer, but I would definitely sign the non-compete agreement, just because if it was myself buying a dropshipping store, I would want that myself. And so I definitely understand that.
And how much support are you willing to offer a new owner during the transition period?
So I want to offer 2 lots of 1-hour Skype sessions and 30-day email support. However, I'm quite flexible in doing a bit more, because I do want to see this store flourish. It is, my baby basically. And so I want to make sure the new owner comes on board and has the best possible, grasp of the store and the best possible start to manage it and to grow it. And so that's negotiable in terms of any more support. I'm happy to talk on the phone a bit more than what I've mentioned.
Are you willing to negotiate on something like an earnout?
Yes, I am. So I can understand that the new owner might want to feel, I guess, safe or want that stability and want that reassurance that the store is going to perform as it has been. And so I'm definitely willing to do that. It depends on the actual agreement, because as I've mentioned, I do want to focus a lot on videography, which is my new chosen field of work. And so I don't want to be spending too much time on dropshipping. However, I understand that, that can definitely help a new owner. And so I'm willing to sort that out if they want, that type of agreement.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I do have another question, but before we get to that, I want to go ahead and run through that quick summary of the business again.
Sure.
The business was built in November of 2016, has a monthly revenue of $15,649, expenses of $11,616 to make for net profit of $4,032, which is generated on a 12-month average. Included in the sale of this business are the primary domain and all site content and files, social media accounts, and supplier relationships. Aaron, can you tell us a little bit, just looking at this on the whole, about why you feel like this is a business worth buying?
Yeah. So to be honest, if I'm still into e-com, this is a business that is definitely worth buying because of the great potential. You can literally buy it, spend a month to ramp up the profits and then resell it basically. Like I'm actually talking in terms of that's something that if you had the time, you could actually do that. But there's just so much potential with this store in terms of the amount of additional suppliers that I have to add more products, the amount of like marketing you can do in terms of actually using the customer base where you can send out newsletters, which I have not done at all. When it came time to actually do that kind of stuff, I just had new interest. So you can do that. You can also do, as I said, Pinterest. You can hire a social media manager. You can actually fix up the Google PLA disapproved product ads. You can fix up the actual text ads. You can take better photos. You can take videos. Go to the suppliers and take videos and photos and make the products look a lot nicer. You can, in terms of the actual brand itself, it's a very strong brand where I've been able to sell products at twice. That's 100%. Actually, was that so? This one product is 80%. Sorry, 80% the wholesale price of eBay, right? So you could actually get the product off eBay, but customers still choose to buy it from my store and pay the extra 80% because of that trust factor, because of brand strength. So I've been actually buying some products from eBay, at full price from eBay, and drop shipping that way, right? Because of leveraging a strong brand. And when you have a strong brand, you can leverage that. You can do so many things. And that's why, you're buying a brand as well. And brands take a long time to develop and to grow and to mature it. And so it's really hard for someone new to come in and just start the same store because they just don't have that brand strength. And so with the brand strength that I have, being able to do that, being able to buy products off eBay at full price and sell them, that just speaks a lot with the strength of the brand that I have, that when you add even more products from additional suppliers, you can do very well. And so that's why if I wasn't so, over the whole, analysis type of work, which I have done a maths degree, many years, 7 years in corporate jobs doing analysis work, and then 2.5 years in doing e-com work, I guess I'm just over the whole analysis-based work. And if you are not over that, like me 2 years ago, if you still love that kind of work, then this is a great opportunity for someone who loves that kind of work to really take on this new project and really grow it to 2 times, 3 times the sales, and to, build the team up to even more people, and to just grow it to the point where it can do amazingly well.
Aaron, thank you so much for taking the time today. It really does sound like this business has a lot of potential if someone comes in with the time to grow it. I really appreciate you taking the time to be on with me today.
No worries. Thanks so much for having me.
If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. And if you want more information, the link will be below the video that will take you to this marketplace listing. If you're watching this on the listing site and want more information, become a depositor today. When you make the deposit, one of our business advisors will be in contact with you, and you'll be given everything you need to review this business. Have a great day.